Welcome to the Say It Out Loud podcast. I'm your host, Vasavi Kumar. If you're eager to gain clarity, speak with unwavering confidence, and liberate those inner voices, you're in the perfect spot. My mission here is to empower you to break free, find fulfillment, and ignite your passion. You ready? It's time to say it out loud. I've put together a guide of my top 10 tested and proven to work practical strategies and habits to help bright women like you say no, set your boundaries right, live confidently, and build healthy relationships, starting with the relationship you have with yourself. This is a self-paced guide, and I can't wait for you to dig into it so you can start becoming your most confident self, because she's in there waiting for you. Head to the link in my show notes or go to vasavikumar.com/guide and grab it today. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Say It Out Loud podcast. It's me, Vasavi, and I am here with my dear friend, Vivianne Pearson, or Vivi, as she loves to go by. She is the founder of Broken Into Purpose, and she is a real estate moxie. Vivi, thank you so much for being here. Hello.
How are you, beautiful?
You know, as we were talking about right before I hit record, how am I doing? Thank you for asking me that on my podcast. It's been, and I want to, actually take everyone behind the scenes of just what it's like to really put yourself out there in a big way. I know you can relate to this. I'm dealing with this right now. So how am I doing? I'm feeling grateful, and I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I am letting go of things energetically that I know is stopping me from fully stepping into the calling, right? Like fully stepping into it, embodying it, and being it. And so it's just growing pains right now, growing pains. I got my book launch party coming out May 11th. You're going to be there, right? May 11th. I have my book coming out May 16th. If y'all haven't pre-order it, please. Link in show notes. And so there's a lot going on for me. And let's just talk about what that's like, in your life right now. Where are you experiencing these transitions in your life and these kind of like evaluation of how you've been doing things or showing up in your life? You know what I mean? Like, take us inside your current situation in your life and what that's been like.
100%. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you for welcoming me into your space, your platform, and to tell individuals, our listeners who are listening in, that there is power in sound, and you encouraging others to say it out loud is an instrument that no one can take away from them. And so with that, I say thank you.
Yeah.
I learned many, many moons ago that asking someone how they're doing is a loaded question.
I can open up. Where do you want me to begin?
Not only that, is can you receive what's on the opposite side of that? Mm-hmm. That's the real thing. Can you receive it? Because so many of us say, how are you doing? Or I love you, and don't know the power behind that. Within how you're doing, you have the ability to actually save someone's life, mm-hmm. and allow them to pause and truly express what's unraveling on the inside that they've been suppressing for so long. But it takes that one person to truly, sincerely say how you're doing and mean it, not how you're doing and keep walking, not how you're doing and keep passing. Like, oh yeah, that's great. I actually got a call. I got to, Psych. How are you doing? Stop what you're doing and actually listen. So with that, I hear you. I want you to know that I hear you. And as much as we talked before this recording, I feel you and I'm walking alongside you. Our journeys may be different, but calling in the path, I always tell people, it's very similar. I'm going through a transition. I'm going through, my experiences, and I realized that, man, it's okay not to be okay. But I can't reside there. I can't make residency
right.
in And you know, just like we talked, of course, I mean, audience can't see me, but prior to getting on the call, I had my neck brace on, and Savi's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I was in an accident, you know?" And here I am, truly being the epitome of my segment on my podcast, which is Build While Broken. In the midst of all the distractions or the pollutions of life, I'm still trying to build, even though I have these different fractures, you know, these setbacks or the disappointments or the navigating the terrains, the wind that's coming. But just like I mentioned to you, is I have to also be still to understand what those experiences are telling me. Because I always say sometimes with that analogy of that Boeing arrow, right? You have to get pulled back in order to propel forward. And I think, you know, whether it's myself or you, we're in that season of transitioning that is truly going to propel us to everything that we've been praying for. We just have to be obedient. We have to stand the rain and truly grasp the concept of growing through what we go through.
When you say being obedient, I love that. I love it. And you know, it's funny. My mother called me disobedient all the time when I was a kid. I was the disobedient child. I was the one who questioned everything. I was the one that said it out loud. I was the one that fought back. I was the one that asked why. Like, don't just tell me what to do. Give me a reason why if I'm going to do this. And she always used to call my sister obedient and me disobedient. I'm totally fine that she called me disobedient. But I love the word obedient in the way that you're saying it, because what I hear is being obedient to not another human being necessarily, but to a bigger purpose and a bigger calling. So like when you showed up here with your neck brace, I asked you, do you like want to reschedule? I had a feeling you would say no. I had a feeling you would say no, I don't need to reschedule, because I know what you're made of. I know like you have a lot of inner strength. I mean, that's very evident. Y'all, if you ever meet Vivianne in person, I mean, we don't see each other often, but when I see her, like you're such a beautiful presence, and I just love being around you when I do see you. We also have great banter. I make fun of you,
Yes,
you make fun of me. It's a lot of fun. And we, you know, it's just like very joking and very lighthearted, you know, but you are very deep and you have so much inner strength, and you showing up and still having this conversation in spite of just getting into a car accident and having a neck brace just says so much about who you are and what it really means to be obedient to the bigger purpose in life.
absolutely.
How are you navigating? I'm curious to know, how do you navigate and how are you currently navigating the transitions in your life right now?
It may sound cliche,
Mm-hmm.
but the higher power, right? Like my faith. That's my anchor
Yeah.
above all. That and accountability. You know, if I'm making a promise, if I have a vision, the goal is execution, no matter what. Because when you're on a path that is driven with purpose, expect opposition. And for
Expect
me,
opposition.
yeah. And for me, I've learned to really hone into the hindsight. It's easier said than done, right? When you're in it, the white flies want to come up. But I started to adapt and see oppositions as opportunities, and my advantages as, you know, my adversities as advantages. Like, how can I scale this? How is this going to allow me to see or shed light, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is this going to serve the greater call? And for me, perfect example is here I am, and I'll never forget the date, 17th of April, excited, jolted. You know, I'm about to kick off my campaign for our retreat for my nonprofit, have some major meetings with some big wigs that week. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And boom, I get in a car accident. Everything comes into a halt. Every meeting, every event that I had planned, and that's how we do, we network, right?
Mhm.
That's how we get the awareness to whatever we're pushing out. All of that comes to a halt, but in the midst of it, had to be still.
What was that like for you? I mean,
Ooh,
especially during a big week. Like I could say if it's like you didn't have all these meetings, maybe it wouldn't have affected you. Or how did I don't want to assume that it affected you. How did you handle that being still? When all
it
you
was hard.
yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
It is what it is. Here I am, the person that gives out mindset Mondays, right? I get hit on a Monday. My mindset is shifted. It is tilted. You
Yeah.
hear me? I am laying. All I can recall is being in the ambulance and I am shaking and I am in pain. And all I could think about was I was about to go write a deal, or my son's birthday is the next day. Like I'm thinking about everything else, but the fact that I really just got hit and I could be severely hurt, right? So within that, your brain just starts going, but it also in the bed, I had to realize that regardless of the outcome, the meetings, my parenting role and etc., how was I doing being alone, just in that space? And did an examination like, I'm not okay.
Are you okay today?
No,
Same.
no, no, I am
Same.
not okay. And I'm
Oh, okay.
okay with that. I'm okay not being okay. But here's the thing, I hold on to hope, right? So holding on to hope gives me the innate ability to push through, even though it hurts, even though I'm not as mobile, even though I'm not even supposed to be driving. I can't drive. And so it's just like I have to now, what is my power in my position? What is my manpower? What can I do space? But we have to be able to tap into something bigger, right? We have to tap into our why, because in the midst of not being okay, I could get discouraged. I cannot see the vision through because everything is coming at you, right? Oh, it's like when it rains, it pours, right? You're like, there's one thing after another. Then you start questioning, why am I even doing this? Is it even possible? But I always say, once the seed is deposited within you, and I always say it's a gift from God, right? That conception, you're supposed to give birth to it. He will make a way. It may not be on our timeline, but it will be seen through. You just got to be obedient. You got to stay the course. It truly is a marathon. But are you willing to run the race? Medication, y'all. Work with me.
same.
I've been tripping on my words and memories. Are you willing to run the race? But that's the thing, and I did a post today because, as we all know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it was a second post that I did on not being okay, right? Because I think the day when I did my initial post was everything that I was feeling. I was completely. I expressed how I am now unraveling and I'm ungotten because we have this persona of putting on a face that I got it, I got it, I got it. And in this particular season, I don't got it. I'm very ungotten and I'm unraveling, but I'm okay with that. And I want you to know that because people see me, like you said, they see this smile, they see this energy, they see, but I'm ungotten right now and I'm unraveling. I'm actually in pain. I'm dwelling, right? I could sit in it all day, but I know it's not going to serve me. But it gives me being transparent about that releases the power that it has on me.
Saying it
right?
out loud keeps it
Saying
from,
it out
yeah.
loud, that part, saying it out loud. And even today when I was reading and I was like, okay, what am I gonna post to kind of like bring awareness? Because I'm still in this, but I realized that mental health is an adjective. It's an adjective for it serves as an umbrella, a blanket, several, several, whether it's disorder, conditions, and etc. Right? But bringing awareness to it, and it requires action. Action from the individuals who's experiencing it, and also from the people that can provide the aid to support them in it. And within that, that requires what? Work. If we're not willing to put in the to over, I had to stop myself because I'm big about the word overcome. If we're not willing to incorporate, to evolve to the person that we're wanting to become or can become, then we're stagnant. Then we'll dwell. Then we'll, in a sense, drown into that mental toxicity that will only trap us and doesn't allow us to be everything that we're. So, no, I'm not okay, but I will be. I hold on to those things. I give myself permission to see the light because that's what we have to do, right? Especially when we're in those dark phases or we feel like things are just chipping away, one thing after another. Hold on to that light, hold on to that why, and persevere, push through.
Let's take a quick break.
Having been in therapy since the age of 12, I know firsthand just how powerful the process of finding the right therapist is. Going to therapy and talking things out with my therapist has made me happier, clearer, and most importantly, I have a plan for my mental health. I have tools to be able to communicate with others, and also the tools to cope when life gets hard, which it does. So let me ask you a question. Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in this world who is going through a hard time, therapy can give you tools to approach your life in a very different way. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with the therapist. There's a link in my description. It's betterhelp, HELP.com/Vasavi. That's betterhelp.com/Vasavi. Clicking that link helps support this podcast, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with the therapist and see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing with therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing out about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. I don't know where I would be without the help of therapy and my therapist, but I do know that life would feel that much harder. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Vasavi. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this podcast.
When you were saying how you were in the ambulance, thinking about your meetings that you're missing, instead of, it brought me to this memory. It was November 2017. Okay. I had recently had, this was just 6 years ago. I had recently just experienced a miscarriage, my first ever. I had a miscarriage the day before I was scheduled for an abortion. Okay. With the guy that I was dating. And, just underwent this like physical experience, like of having a miscarriage. I never experienced such cramps, such pain down there in my life, because I'd never had a miscarriage. Basically ran out of all my money because I was using cocaine 5 days a week. And like, it was awful, right? And it was awful. It's almost like my soul some part of me chose to like basically get me down to a place of bankruptcy on so many levels, spiritual bankruptcy, emotional bankruptcy, financial bankruptcy. And my sister and my aunt came to visit me, and they're in my apartment. They're wanting to take me to rehab. And they're in my apartment. I'm still with my toxic codependent ex, the most heart-wrenching relationship I was in, because it really shattered my self-esteem on so single-handedly.
Mhm.
And I remember sitting in my apartment, and my sister's like, we got to get you to rehab. We got to get you to rehab. And I'm like, but what about my car lease? What about all my clients? What about him? What about him? Like my ex, we were still together actually at the time. I go, what about my furniture? And my sister said, you're dying on the inside. She goes, I have never seen you like this. Like, you are lifeless, and you are sitting here thinking about your car payments. She goes, we will handle your car payments. We will handle your apartment lease. We will handle it. You need to get help. That's what it made me think of when you shared that, because it's like, we have all these, big visions and dreams. And I think we often, and I know so many of my listeners, they are, soul driven, purpose driven, goal oriented, and we forget to clean up our own house. Our own house is burning down internally, but we want to save the people. Let's help everybody else. And even though your accident was like, it was an accident, and my stuff was my own stuff, like it happened. It's just interesting how both of our reactions were.
Everybody.
You're in an ambulance.
Yes, girl, and I couldn't think straight.
No, but like, thank you for sharing that. That is not weird. There is nothing, I mean, that it's just so indicative of a bigger, I don't want to call it a problem. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity here for us to look at, like, wow, am I that focused on my, like, at that point, is this a healthy relationship that I have with my purpose?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was for me. It's like, is this really a healthy situation for me? If, like, I'm really not even focused on myself right now, I'm more worried about what the external is going to look like. What are people going to think? So, I think tying this back into our transitions and being okay with not being okay, and also anchoring and holding on to hope. I really love that you said that, because that's similar with me. I think that's what we really have that in common, although we're different religions and stuff. For me, it's like, when I say God, it's just like, it is the God within me. It is the divinity within me. It doesn't have a name, form, energy. It's an energy for me. It's a power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I appreciate you saying that, because I have no problem saying the word God. I don't have a heebie-jeebies about saying the word God, because in our religion growing up, Hinduism, our God is not a punishing God. We don't have a God that's like, get mad at you, or you're gonna go to hell. Like, I don't think like that. I wasn't raised. So I appreciate you saying that, and I think we often undervalue the power of that invisible hope. It's invisible hope, right?
Yeah.
We don't doubt whether the sun's gonna come up in the morning. We just know it is.
That part.
We don't even. It's not even a thought. It's not even a thought. Is the sun going to come up in the morning and rise? And so I'm like, how can we take some of that and apply it to our own life?
Yeah, 100%.
What's come up for you?
For me, when you said that, I was like, oh yeah. It's just, you don't think twice about that. And that serves in, I guess I'm relating a lot of things to my current experience, especially with the accident. I'm like, wow, we take so much advantage of the little things, right? Like, say, for instance, I'm being fully transparent.
Please.
Being able to scrub my back, and being able to drive, or, I like to be nice and oily. This brown melanin, right?
I know, you have beautiful skin. I mean, you like chocolate.
Yeah, I can't, do certain things. And I'm like, I just had to sit here and just like, God, I'm so thankful for holding on to gratitude. And I think you said that in the beginning. I was just like, man, I have been gripping gratitude these last 2 weeks, like literally death hold, because I'm alive. I can talk. I can see. even though I suffer with a concussion, I feel like some of my, communication in terms of dialect has been a little slow. My vision's kind of blurred out a little bit in certain areas. I'm so thankful I got to see my son on his birthday, which was the next day. It could have been so much worse. And so just again, taking advantage of being able to say, I love you to the people that you do love, and being able to hug or all that stuff, just like the sun rises every day. We take advantage of that. We take advantage of the little things, but they're so important to us.
I really love this concept of invisible hope, and being grateful. And I don't hear it as bypassing, because like there are some people who'll be like, oh, I'm so grateful, but they won't acknowledge that sometimes things suck. I appreciate how you're like, no, I'm not okay.
Yes, girl.
Like both can coexist. You
Yes.
cannot be okay and still be grateful, because it could have been worse. Like it's not. I mean, like, I feel you. You know what? When you talk about the oil in your back, I feel that way when I can't zipper up a dress from the back, and I feel helpless sometimes. I've cried before. I have cried before, actual tears, because I was like, why don't I have someone to zip this for me? And I noticed I would get tenser and tenser, try to do it. And then I would have to let go. I'd say, Vas, you have 2 arms. You are a smart girl. You can finagle your way. You can finagle the zipper up. You can do it. So I allow myself to feel sorry for myself for a hot second, because you know what? It sucks not being able to zipper your dress. But then it's like, we can do this. We can do this. I've had neighbors come over to help me. My neighbor across the street, Claire, said, Claire, can you please come over and help me? In those moments, grateful that I have a neighbor that I can ask to come over. And then I noticed when I loosened my shoulders and my whole elbow area, everything, I was able to finagle and get the zipper up. It's not about the damn zipper, right? It's about the fact that we are capable, and we are very powerful and resilient, and we can move forward. And with that, true resiliency for me doesn't just mean that you move forward. It means that you acknowledge how hard it is. And in spite of that, you move forward.
That's good. Yeah, you said 2 things that I want to touch on. You said coincide, and they definitely can, because I remember touching on this on my podcast, saying that you can be both blessed and broken. It can happen simultaneously. And that's the beauty of building, even when you're broken. Things are happening, but guess what, Voss? You're about to have a book launch. You're about to, be on so many stages, but so many other things are happening in the background. Like you said, you're transitioning, you're adapting to this new you with, whether it's the medication, whether it's, just figuring out what's happening. You are still persevering. You're still being blessed in the process. And so with that, I think it's imperative that we give ourselves grace in those seasons and really be humble, and knowing that outside of it's okay not to be okay, and not reside there, but I will allow those to actually fuel me and propel me to to destination, right? Because it's a journey. And I feel like once we get to a destination, we want to continuously evolve. So I always say becoming, because there's no end to your becoming.
Well, how do you feel when it's like, well, first of all, let me go back to this. Did you ever reschedule those meetings?
Yes, and some of them have been Zoom, and then some of them, I couldn't reschedule one of them. As of now, I was actually a contestant, the top 10 contestant for the best speaker of the Northwestern, and it was in Dallas on the 27th and the 28th. Wow. And I missed, on that opportunity. But, they reached out to me. They were completely empathetic about the situation, and I'm with hopes to participate in the future events. So those are some of the things that was just like, but you know what? I believe what's for me is for me, right? Doors will continue to open because I operate with good intentions, and I know my purpose, and the calling is greater than me, all right? And advocacy for mental health is something that I believe is a part of my dash, and bringing awareness to it. You say it out loud. I say
Amplify your voice, amplify.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it's within that we have power, but we have to be comfortable having these uncomfortable conversations of the heart, right? So many of us are suffering. So many of our loved ones are dying. And it's just because they did not feel as if they had the fortitude, let alone support to say it out loud.
I think both of us right here. It's so, first of all, I've never had a podcast. This is not even an interview. We're literally, I've always wanted, it's so funny. I had a feeling today would be like this, Vivi. I was like, I'm in a place, in a season in my life where I am looking at how I work with people, where I'm putting my energy into, what type of clients I want to work with. You know, I'm a very solution focused person. I mean, I'm very I've trained my brain to be solution focused because I don't want to sit in the problem. I don't want, I mean, yeah, like I know how to sit with the problem, but I don't want to stay in the problem. My brain is very much like what are we doing to get out of this? Like, we're not going to sit here. So I've been reevaluating a lot of things, how I'm spending my energy, the types of clients that I'm having, the types of conversations within those calls that I'm having. And even on the podcast, you know, it always has felt like, what do you do? Tell me about your background. Give us 3 tips. And it's just like, while I appreciate that, and it's important, and I'll put your bio and everything in the show notes, and I am much more of the, let's look at you right now, because who you are right now, yes, we can go and talk about your past and talk about how you were raised, and, you know, and that stuff is very important. I talk about it all the time, but I also am in this season where I'm like, I don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about, how are you dealing with life right now? Like, how do you get through the day? How do you show up on a Zoom call with your neck brace and still show up and amplify your voice and say it out loud? And so this conversation for me, I think it might be one of the like lightest conversations I've ever had, because I don't have room or space in this season, as I'm coming out with this book, Say It Out Loud, to be like, to not say how I feel. I'm not okay right now. I'm more just, I feel a little disorganized. Like, what is happening? There's so much good happening, and behind the scenes, it's good. Like, I love the relationship that I have with myself. That is my blessing. It's the relationship that I've developed with myself. But there's a lot, like, man, I'm navigating this, like, so many, I can feel, and please tell me if you've ever felt this way. I have a feeling you have. You see this new season coming. It's like happening. It's literally happened. It's not like it's not even it's happening. It's happened. It's like I even showed my photo of my book to my agent, and I wrote, it's happening, and she goes, it happened. It happened.
Period. Yeah.
And oftentimes when we dreamt about these big things happening, and then we're actually there, where our body's like, whoa. This is new. This is big. You know, this is big. And so we will try to protect ourselves from having to feel the monstrosity of the bigness that we're experiencing. And so it's interesting that our life will just kind of happen. So we are forced to slow down and like really be with what's happening.
You know, it's crazy. I had a conversation with a meeting on Monday, and in that conversation, I preferenced this. I heard it, and it just so happened to be a right moment to bring it back up. And when you were talking, I thought about it. I was like, oh, it could be a mixed emotions in that, in terms of you're protecting yourself as well, right? Because there's that fear of success. And I'm sure you know that.
Yes.
I'm sure you probably talked with your clients about that, right? The fear of success when it's happening, or it already happened, and here all these things are coming, and then you start questioning whether or not you deserve it or what's happening. And
is it real? No, for me, it's like, is this happening? This is, and here's I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
This is what it was. I said this to my older sister yesterday. We're very close. I said, you realize my whole freaking life as a child, I was scrutinized, I was rejected, I was ridiculed for the best parts of me. And now I wrote a damn book called Say It Out Loud, and I am being celebrated and I am being praised for the very thing that I was rejected and withheld love from because I was this way. I go, do you know that this is a fucking mind trip for me? I'm now being celebrated as an adult for the thing as a child that it was like, you're too much. You're too much. This is too much. And so it's a mind trip for me. Nervous system wise, it's like, wait, I'm literally just being the person that I've been my whole life, but I was ridiculed for it. I was hit for it. I was yelled at for it. And now I'm being celebrated for it. That's weird. It's weird. It is weird. I'm not even going to, some people ask like, how does it feel when you got your book? I go, when I actually held my book, it was neutral for me. It was neutral. I didn't feel a high. I didn't feel a low. I was just really neutral because it's like when you carry a baby for 9 months, you're not all of a sudden shocked when you see that baby. You knew that baby was going to come out of you. That's how I looked at it. It's like, I knew this book was going to come to life, but now it's a matter of full body experience of allowing the fullness of that experience. I really allow myself to be proud. So that's what I'm currently working on is, Voss, can you really be proud of yourself? I do not know how to consistently be proud of myself because I do not have the experience of that. But that doesn't mean that I can't learn and allow the people in my life I can allow them to pour into me and receive it.
Yeah, well, I want to say this before we go any further. I am proud of you. Congratulations. This is beyond well deserved. It's, well overdue if you ask me, because you've been advocating, you've been saying it out loud, and it's for such a time as this. For such a time as this, in the season of your life, that people get to experience, people also get to relate, right? This book is not only for you. You needed this book to allow you to navigate, see yourself, and also forgive yourself for accepting and allowing those things to hold you back for so many years. And now they're propelling you. Now the goddess within you, right, has taught you that all those things are merely stepping stones to where you are today and where you're going. So I'm proud of you. I can't wait to celebrate you. I'll continuously be your cheerleader and adjust your crown and let you know that you are more than enough and you are worthy of everything that's coming towards you. But have an open heart to receive it because you deserve it.
I appreciate you saying that. There's definitely a worthiness thing that comes up. It's like, am I ready for this? And am I deserving of this? 100%. So I appreciate you bringing that to the surface, because that which we bring to the surface and into the light cannot control us, right? It cannot, like, if I know that that's my thing, am I worthy of this? Do I actually deserve this? Yes, I can speak to that part of me because I know how to talk to myself. Is there any part of you that feels that way in your life right now? Like maybe you're not worthy of something?
Not so much that I'm not. That took a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
Through my CBT training for, I think it was like 6 months, it taught me a lot in that space of unworthiness, right? That self-talk, that can be very detrimental to the mindset. And so for me, it's been years since I've kind of evolved in that sense, but it's a constant work. But currently today, I'm like, I'm coming after everything that's for me.
I want it. I'm taking it.
Wasting all.
I'm taking note. I feel that. Yeah. I mean,
because I am worthy. I am deserving because I'm good. Because that's the thing I had to learn. When I know that I'm good, that I operate with pure intentions and I operate with love and kindness, because that's a part of my DNA that I cannot navigate from. That is truly me to the core and big. So I know on the opposite side of that, I am so deserving of that, if not more. And so I don't diminish that aspect or that reciprocity by any means. And so that's why I do believe in quality versus quantity. I don't need a huge crowd of friends. Give me one or two that loves me deep and I'm fulfilled,
That's
right?
right. That's
But when we get lost in, I know this mundane thing of just the exterior validation, that's when we lose sight of worth. And so when we start accepting and knowing who we are and whose we are, I think that's where the power truly comes in is like, I am enough with or without you. I used to say this and more recently, probably about a year and a half ago, but then I'm like, I mean, I know who I am. But I used to say, I'm good with or without you.
Yep, I'm good either
You,
way.
yeah, either way, having a connection with you is an accessory or enhancement, we should say, right? Whether that's and that's more so in, I guess, a relationship aspect, if we want to be very direct in that example. But it's just like I know my worth and I respect me enough to not, whether it's tolerate, diminish my light, know what's supposed to come to me, right? So and how I receive things as well. So it's just in today's space, no, because I put in so much work
Mm-hmm.
that
For real.
I am so worthy of every opportunity that comes my way.
The other thing that came to me when you said that about like um whose I am and who
Mm-hmm.
I am, the words came to me as like, I belong to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm in a relationship, I still belong to me. I don't
Absolutely.
belong to anybody. I only belong to myself,
I'm
and
not a possession. I'm
I
not a
am
possession.
not a possession and I am not your source of pleasure. I'm
Mhm.
not just your source of pleasure. I'm not just here to, I'm not your possession. And that has taken, that for me is, I'm currently working on that in therapy right now about what are the events in my life that have shaped my perspective on what my role is as a woman, right? And one of my roles as a woman as a child was, I am here to make dad happy. I am here to make sure dad is safe. I am here for men to feel good. And because of that, I lost so much in touch with my feminine because I had to become the tough one for everybody else. And that's just a lot of unraveling and rewiring. A lot comes up when you're transitioning into something big. Shit comes up. And what I'm giving myself permission is like, Vas, this is a big deal. Just literally 4 years ago, you were in rehab. You know?
Mhm.
And now going through this and having this experience of allowing ourselves to be worthy and deserve it and take what's ours and take all of it, whatever we want, right? Like for me, I really love, like, I'm going to take what's mine. I really love that energy because we don't have to just settle for what's being given to us.
That part. Yeah.
Said that part.
Yeah, that part.
That
Because
part.
we tend to do that. And I want to piggyback on the possession thing because believe it or not, we don't see this in different areas of our lives
Mm-hmm.
when we only focus, it could, someone can listen to this and think the possession aspect is only with a person. The possession aspect can be with your workspace and going into a 9 to 5.
Oh
The
yeah.
possession aspect could be with that mental cage that you've given yourself of toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
So the possession can be so many things. You name it or label it however you want. But it's whatever you give power to that robs you, whether of joy, happiness, or your power of I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to make that clear because possession is not just another person trying to take possession of you. It could be your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It could literally be your workspace because you're not happy. You're feeling degraded. You're not respected. So there's so many things, and I like to, in my role as a consultant, I like to have that broad spectrum, of just, when I'm telling people to think, you got to think bigger. Be that helicopter over your life and your current situation and assess it from that view versus operating in your frontal lobe, where everything is like right now, this is what's happening. So I'm going to enlarge that particular incident.
Magnify it.
Magnify it. Yeah. And just make it take over my entire life. But no, back up. Zoom out.
Back up.
Seriously, you have to assess and stop being so reactive. So you give yourself the opportunity to be proactive and truly analyze what's going on. Many times, and it's so crazy because when I do some consulting as well, I sit back and I have, the calls or whatever, and I listen. Most of the time, the clients answer their own questions. But what we fail to do in that analytical process while we're analyzing is to realize we're the common denominator. And
we're the most toxic person in our life.
We're the common denominator. Yeah. And realizing that it's not because, that blame is them, it's them, but there's something about you that you don't want to acknowledge. And I always say that's number one, and you've mentioned that, right? Acknowledging that something is wrong. And what happened, whether it's a traumatic experience, whether it's a childhood experience, whether it's whatever took place, is seeping into other areas of your life and it's causing disruption. Once you acknowledge that, that's when the work can truly be done. Because now I give the analogy of the onion. Time to peel back the layers and get to the core.
And this is in every season of our life. I got to do it. It's like interesting because it's like, it's 5 years ago, what I was looking at was very different than what I'm looking at now. Certain patterns now, certain things now, right? Certain mindset things now. I never want to say like, it's all figured out. It's all figured out. New level, new devil. And I really love that because I am noticing that. It's like, oh, the issues or the challenges that I'm dealing with now are very different challenges than last year. Very different challenges than 3 years ago. So it really is having that invisible hope, having that discernment, and allowing ourselves to say when it is so that I'm not okay, but I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And, as we come to an end, Vivi, I would just like to say thank you for being here. I'd like you to share a little bit with my audience about how they can learn more about you, any fun stuff that you got coming up so they can check you out.
Absolutely. So thank you all for, listening in. It's a pleasure as always, Vaz, to connect with you. To connect with us and participate in anything that we have going on, my nonprofit is Broken into Purpose. We have our amazing retreat taking place in the fall. We would love for you to check out the website, click on the tab retreat. We have, following that, we're going to have a little soiree celebrating overcoming so many things. And, we say relinquish, reset, revive, and reposition ourselves, not only to, survive, but to thrive. And so we welcome you. Registration is open, and that's going to be from September 29th to October 1st. You can find us on Facebook and IG. Our tag is @untapped_purpose. And feel free, again, brokenintopurpose.org contact. You want to connect with me. My personal platform is Vivianne.Pearson, Vivianne.Pearson on IG. Look forward to connecting with you all. And I always say this before I close, continue to recycle your pain into purpose.
Thank you so much, Vivianne, for being here on the Say It Out Loud podcast.
Thank you for having me.
If you love today's episode, then say it out loud. Subscribe, leave a review, and come say hi over on Instagram at My Name is Vasavi. Until next time, say it out loud.